So I found this post on the Pokemon investing subreddit that I wanted to share with you all. Here's actually a very interesting post in a thing to talk about Pokemon investing and investing into alternative assets versus investing into traditional stuff. So the title of this post is at 21. Aren't I just better off investing in the stock market? Hear me out. I'm 21 and have 50% of my savings on sealed Pokemon product. So I don't know why they repeated their 21 two times, but okay. So let's just look at what they have here. So they invested about $5,000 into Pokemon. The market value now is 9,226. So the return's about 80%. So we go into the next slide here, and here they show their investment account, and it shows okay they're up, I guess total 4%. Now the problem here that is not actually being shown is where are the dates? Where are the dates when you bought these, stocks, these ETFs? Where are the dates when you bought and purchased and invested into Pokemon? I mean, this is very hard to show actually like the actual gains and the time frames because okay, if you bought your Pokemon product a year ago and you bought these just yesterday, I mean, there's no point in actually comparing the two because what's really relevant here is okay, did you buy them at the same time? And I mean, we don't see any of that here, so it's kind of hard to actually say okay, what was the difference here in actual gains, because if they purchased them at different times then obviously it's hard to compare. But anyways, let's just keep reading and I'm gonna give my take on this, and you guys can leave down in the comment section below what your take on this is and what you would do. I don't think there's any right answer, but I think this is a very interesting thing to talk about. So long story short, invested about 5,000 into Pokemon and 5,000 into ETFs about 6 months ago. Pokemon is up 80%, while my ETFs are up about 4%. So, okay, I guess my question got answered here. I should have just kept reading. They invested them around the same time. Am I stupid for dumping more money month after month on Pokemon? Starting med school in August, plan is to buy as many Prismatic as I can at MSRP, as many Destin rivals as I can at MSRP. After that, I'm done with Pokemon, just gonna hold for 5+ years. Am I stupid? So here's my take, and like I said, I truly don't think there's a right answer. There's obviously the obvious answer that everyone's gonna give you that I pre-read some of the comments. People are giving the exact same answer. It's obvious what the safe answer is, but here is my take. Okay, ETFs are generally, well, I mean, for the most part, going to be less risky than investing in a Pokemon. That's pretty factual. I think most people will agree on that. But here's the thing that some people haven't considered down in the comments of this post. This person is saying they're just going to be buying at MSRP, Prismatic and Destin rivals. Let's say, okay, for, Prismatic, they're buying ETBs at MSRP like $50 or $60, whatever you want to, say MSRP is, because it depends on the store. Sometimes it's $50, sometimes it's $60. Dollar General, I know they're selling them for $40. But anyways, Destin Rivals, I don't know where you're buying booster boxes for MSRP, so I'm guessing they're going to be buying booster bundles, ETBs, whatever they can find, at stores. Here's my take on this. The fact that this person is investing at MSRP, maybe this is a crazy take. You might think it's, maybe they should be going the more traditional route in this circumstance, but they are buying at about half of market price. For example, if they buy Prismatic at, $50, ETBs right now are selling for about $130. They could sell instantaneously, even after fees, and net like a 100% gain, right? Destin Rivals, depending on what product they buy, it's about roughly double MSRP. Same thing with Prismatic. So they're already starting off way ahead of the curve, and they can sell immediately buying at MSRP and see a pretty large gain. So in my mind, I don't think it's the dumbest thing to, if you're just buying at MSRP, Prismatic and Destin Rivals, those specific two sets, I don't actually think it's that dumb to just invest in a Pokemon. Now, I know this is not the safe option, because could Pokemon theoretically in a few months here print Prismatic Destin Rivals so much to the point where they get to MSRP, and this person, if they were to sell, would sell at a slight loss? That's possible, but what's the likelihood of that actually happening? Very low, but it's possible. So I don't think it's dumb to do that. If that's their strategy, investing into these expensive sets at MSRP, I don't think it's dumb. But the one issue you could say you could have in a pinch is liquidity, right? A stock ETF automatically just sell right during the open market, and there and then it's pretty much instantaneous, clicking a button rather than just Pokemon. Okay, we're gonna sell it. eBay, if you sell it for a little bit under market, prismatic, deaths and rivals, it'll sell relatively quickly, right? But what happens if the Pokemon market dumps, right, and it crashes? There's a lot of things you can argue here, but the obvious, most safe answer, which everybody in the comment section gives here, is don't invest. Invest into stocks. I mean, this has been an argument in this whole space forever, and I may make a little bit of a video talking about this later, as well, just to kind of make that a separate topic. But there's no right or wrong way to invest. Seriously, there's not. Anyone telling you there's a right way to invest, there's not. It's how much risk do you want to take? That is the basis of any investing. How much risk are you willing to take? That's literally all it is. So there's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on your circumstance. Obviously, there's maybe better decisions, but for this person, if they can hold longer term and they really truly wouldn't need the money anytime soon, I think investing at these sets of MSRP, I honestly don't think it's a bad idea. But maybe I'm crazy, but that's my take. So let's just see what some people have to say here. It's going to be the obvious stuff that you would hear people saying, oh, it's just for fun. This Pokemon space there's no value in this stuff. It's obvious, right? I mean, we all know this. But let's just read and see. Never forget, Pokemon investing is for fun. I guess for some it is, but for some people, it's been, more than just fun. And some people have actually made a large amount of money from it. But moving on, don't take this as a serious form of an investment. You will have irresponsible adults in this thread telling teenagers Pokemon has outperformed stock market. Yeah, we've heard that before. The reality is Pokemon has no intrinsic value, and you're basically betting on or hoping the next guy pays more for what you paid for. There are too many things to get into if we get into the details, but it's safe to say I would do no more than 5 to 10% of your money investing in Pokemon. This person is quoting, a financial, I guess, guy, a sort of, popular guy. If he goes, no, Dave Ramsey, right? I mean, I guess opinions on him is kind of, whatever. It's, what you think about him, but okay. Don't try to do individual stock picking either. Okay, this person is now just giving straight up financial advice. Here's my take on this. Okay, is it true that Pokemon has no intrinsic value? 100%. It's true, right? It's just cardboard at the end of the day. But it doesn't invalidate the whole thing as in itself, right? You can argue that a lot of other things also have no intrinsic value, but people still hold on to them, right? Because if there's a large enough or a large amount of people or large enough or whatever you want to say, I mean, Pokemon has millions of fans, obviously, and the company's worth like 100 plus billion. To say that, okay, it has no intrinsic value and therefore it's super risky, there is truth to it. But okay, it's not like this is a brand new company that just opened yesterday and they're completely new, right? And they have no fan base. Like Pokemon's been around for about 30 years now. So I would say, and in history, obviously, we have seen there being somewhat of a floor price for these things. For the most part, being wholesale pricing. So I would say there is truth to this this comment, but there are some things here which I feel like they're trying to, I guess, discredit what we've seen, at least in history, in this space. But it's true. There's no intrinsic value, and that's something you do have to think about. But this person, at the end, they just start getting into actual financial advice. I'm not doing that here, okay? We're talking about Pokemon investing. It's safer to invest into the market, which you should be doing. This is obviously very broad. I mean, investing in the market, it's not safe. Depending on what you do, it is not safe. If you're investing in ETFs like, VO, I mean, I'm going to get into the, financial, side here and start talking about this stuff because this is about Pokemon investing, but this is a general statement, which is kind of true. I mean, depends. Pokemon is more speculative. The yield is higher if you know what you're doing. It's not wrong to have money in both. If you're still young, you can take risks. Just don't go all in. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a somewhat grounded take. For your information, the mods here ban people for advising folks to invest in the stock market instead of Pokemon cards. You may be thinking of another sub. This discussion is totally fine and welcome. Okay. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Pokemon could be a solid investment, but it has the same risk as other hyped consumer products. Your ETFs also have risk, but a different kind. No shame in having a small portion of your portfolio in collectibles. I mean, this is all like the general stuff you're going to hear people saying, diversify, only put 5-10%, it is more risky. I mean, we all know this, right? So, yeah, I mean, what is your take on this? Like I said, for me, obviously, I think they're a take, and if they, go, use, according to their plan and invest into Prismatic and Decimal and MSRE, I don't think that's a bad idea because they're already ahead by so much. They're, paying about half, they could sell, and like I said, even Prismatic, like net 100% gain. I don't think it's the worst idea ever, but obviously there is more volatility and risk doing so. But I think they're buying quite a bit under the market to the point where I wouldn't say it's that risky. If they were buying at full blown market, I wouldn't advise doing it, right? But the fact they have this, price they're buying at, I don't think it's a bad idea. But just my take. I know it's probably not the most popular one, but I mean, everyone perceives, investing in a different light. And like I said, I'll probably make a video later today talking about this because I think it is a very interesting discussion. And I am not a financial advisor, but I truly believe investing in, it's really your take on risk. That's all it is. So, that's all I want to share in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you think. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.